Alt season. If you have been involved with cryptocurrency, you have heard this term before and probably experienced one. If you're new, alt season can be defined as a prolonged period where altcoins significantly outperform the leading crypto asset, Bitcoin. In late 2017, alt season took off like never seen before. As seen from this chart, Bitcoin dominance was 80% in the beginning of 2017. By the end of 2017, that dominance number dropped to below 40%. Altcoins outperformed Bitcoin and sucked away market cap, and this period of time helped propel the emerging asset class into the limelight. However, throughout the bear cycle, altcoins closed the gap once in the beginning of January of 2018, having a mini alt season when Bitcoin dominance got to its all-time low of about 33%. Since then, throughout the rest of the bear and recent bull cycle, the Bitcoin dominance has been growing, resulting in a lack of another alt season thus far. So that is the question, will there be another alt season like the one experienced in late 2017? Personally, I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again in cryptocurrency. Back in late 2017, you could almost pick any coin from any team and you could make significant gains. This was largely due to retail traders' involvement and interest in initial coin offerings. ICO fever was huge in 2017 and hit its peak in late 2017 before fizzling out throughout 2018. Capital to fuel an alt season has to come from somewhere, and for a reason. In 2017, ICO fever was the reason, and capital came from retail investors. Today, the markets are a much different beast. Bitcoin is surging, but this surge is being boosted by institutional focus on Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. We all know institutions like Bakkt and Fidelity are coming later this year, but institutional demand for Bitcoin has been showing its face for the good part of 2018 and throughout this year. The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which is a publicly traded stock that invests exclusively in Bitcoin, serves as the best indicator of institutional investment in BTC. Only institutions and qualified accredited investors can invest directly into this trust with a minimum investment of $50K. Throughout 2018, 66% of investments into the trust came from institutions, 14% came from accredited individuals, 15% came from retirement accounts, and 5% came from family offices. As we can see, the number of Bitcoins held by this trust has been surging throughout 2018 and into 2019, signaling these large investors are getting increasingly interested in Bitcoin. The Grayscale Trust actually holds just under 1.3% of the total circulating supply of BTC. This chart shows the recent surge in institutional involvement in BTC. As we can see, in April, the total inflow of Bitcoin in the trust reached an all-time high with 11,236 BTC. This was more than the previous 4 months combined. Thus, in my opinion, institutional involvement of cryptocurrency will be heavily focused on Bitcoin, as the regulatory climate of altcoins is still not very clear. Eventually, institutions and their trust will get involved in altcoins, but this is going to take some more time as the regulatory climate is worked out across the globe. If institutional capital isn't going to be the fuel that sparks the next alt season, then it has to come from the retail traders like you and me once again. Whenever Bitcoin starts to go sideways, we get people saying alt season is coming soon. Personally, I believe people underestimate the allure of margin trading for people who would have otherwise gambled on alts. BitMEX and the likes are currently filling that need for traders to take a chance and make some significant gains. Bitcoin has done over $3.25 billion in trading volume in the past 24 hours, over $117 billion in the past 30 days, and almost $1 trillion in the past year. It is completely obvious that margin trading is popular and serving the gambling needs of many traders. Margin trading is only going to grow into the future too. The exchange who should not be named is soon launching their margin option fully to the public, as the option is live in early access for selected users. Then Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong confirmed they are looking into margin trading on Coinbase Pro because it is a commonly requested feature, and they are currently figuring out the regulatory requirements as seen from this AMA conducted last month.
All right, from Vinny Crypto on Twitter, margin trading on Coinbase Pro. I think this is a big feature that customers are asking for. They want the ability to kind of go long or go short and get additional exposure, not just based on the amount of funds they have in their account. I don't want to say any more than that, but we are hearing this as a commonly requested feature. By the way, there's just to share a little bit about why we haven't launched that sooner. There's a lot to figure out here in that vein of most trusted. There's a lot of people launching margin products out there in the community, and they've done really well with them. So there's clearly market demand for that. In the U.S. especially, and in other markets that have more established regulatory regimes, the laws around margin and consumer protection are something that's really worth looking at. So for example, institutions can kind of go do margin pretty easily. Consumers, the laws around that are pretty extensive. And so this is one of those products where you have to innovate, not just on the technology, but also on the regulatory side. And that's kind of one of the things I think Coinbase is good at is we see stuff out there that is awesome in customer demand, and we actually make it kind of mainstream, trusted, easy to use. And part of the trust is figuring out the regulatory environment to do that.
Then there is the concept of IEOs, or initial exchange offerings, which are taking a major share of retail money that would have pumped other alts already on the market. The IEO is a disgusting concept, yet will be profitable because of human psychology of the herd mentality. IEOs are basically this: retail traders giving centralized exchanges the power to say what is good and what is not in terms of crypto technology and projects. Usually with IEOs, a much lower amount of tokens are sold in the public sale. For example, Harmony's recent ICO, in which 12.5% of the tokens were sold to the public. At least with ICOs, usually around 50% of the tokens are sold to the public. Then the exchange who conducts the IEO is usually gifted a large amount of tokens, incentivizing them to pump and dump the coin, which has been characteristic of almost every IEO conducted. Although with pump and dumps, there is opportunity to make money on the pumps, and I don't hate on anyone turning a profit legally. I just see how batshit backwards this concept is and won't contribute to its success in the space. So these IEOs are basically exchanges conducting their own selective alt seasons. But just like IEO fever will eventually die out when people realize that a large majority of these projects are just the same thing as the 2017 ICOs, with shittier tokenomics. Given these facts of institutional involvement, margin trading, and IEOs, I can say with some bit of confidence that we will most likely won't experience another alt season like in 2017. I'm not saying there won't be another one, it will just be much different. The next alt season will be dominated by the blue chip alts, established projects with use cases that are on the radar of institutions. A good place to see the blue chips institutions are looking at is again with Grayscale Investments, as they have began investing in other cryptos besides Bitcoin in their funds. One of those funds is the Digital Large Cap Fund, which exposes their clients to a mix of blue chip altcoins and Bitcoin. Besides BTC, there is Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. Established alts like these will get the next round of institutional money, and they are the coins that are next up in line to have margin trading options. Thus, the next alt season will begin with the blue chip altcoins. This has already begun for a few of them, and a good example of this is Litecoin. Litecoin since the beginning of the year has doubled its market cap dominance from 1.5% to 3%. For most altcoins out there, their market cap dominance has fallen, and I foresee this continuing for most alts into the next 6 months. Slowly but surely, alt season will begin for the blue chips, and depending on the future of IEOs and margin trading, we may never see another alt season for the sea of shit coins.